It's been a while since I've spoken about horror films on Tubi. I usually do my horror film recommendations for each streaming platform, and I once did a Tubi one a very long time ago, so I thought it would be a good idea to just start fresh and start with some Tubi recommendations so I can start a new little series and put them all into a playlist, because they are always putting things on there and taking things off. I have 6 underrated horror films to talk about today, so hopefully you can find something new to watch. A lot of the videos that I'm going to be uploading are ones that I have previously filmed, so you'll probably see me go through a range of different hair colours, but this video is being filmed after my operation. My hair is supposed to be green. It is starting to go a little bit blue, but that's just because I haven't been able to dye it, but I'm slowly getting there and catching back up with everything. My first recommendation is a film called Spring. In Spring, we follow a sudden whirlwind romance when a travelling man meets a mysterious woman harbouring a dark secret in Italy. We watch them as they go on dates and get to know each other more. It's done at a slow to steady pace. It's definitely not a film that's full of action. The 2 main characters, Evan and Louise, are captivating and really interesting. Their romantic chemistry leaves you desperate to know what's going to happen next and if they're going to be able to pursue a relationship. This film feels very sweet and tender at times, contrasting with the Lovecraftian vibe. This one could definitely fit into the cosmic horror subgenre. It has an original plot that's not too heavy on the horror. The only real downfall is the obvious CGI. That leaves you thinking some things are definitely best left up to the imagination. The next film is I Am Not a Serial Killer. John is a sociopath teen who struggles with overwhelming dark thoughts of murder. Whilst fighting his own demons, he accidentally witnesses real killings and decides to follow this local serial killer in hopes of stopping him. Things end up getting a lot more complicated than he ever could have imagined. This film went in a completely different direction than what I was expecting, which I am kind of happy about because it really makes it stand out from other films that are similar. The pacing is quite slow and it's very character focused on John. I was really engaged throughout the whole thing, and as I was watching I was just desperate to know what was going to happen next. I do think it could have been maybe 20 minutes shorter in the first half of the film to be a little bit more effective, but it's really not that big of a deal. We see lots of creepy visuals. There are lots of visuals at a funeral home, which really sets the mood and keeps you feeling uncomfortable. It does have a coming of age feel as we watch John navigate a really hard time in his life with the struggles of feeling different and outcasted, with his dark thoughts and lack of emotions. For a low budget indie film, I was really impressed. My next recommendation is Death of a Vlogger. In this mockumentary style found footage film, we follow a vlogger that captures something supernatural whilst live streaming. An online paranormal investigator also gets involved and things rapidly escalate. This is another low budget indie film. It is found footage, and I do think with found footage you really don't need a big budget for it to be effective. It was really entertaining and there were some really funny moments, especially with the online paranormal investigator. The main characters did have really interesting and complex personalities. There were a few tense moments and at times it did feel really creepy. The social media aspect made it feel very current and the pacing was steady throughout. Honestly, this film actually went really quickly, so I must have been really enjoying it. My next recommendation is really fun to watch with friends, and that is the film Devil. A group of strangers end up getting stuck in a lift and have to wait to be rescued. But in the time that they're waiting, things quickly turn sinister when the lights go out and people start dying. They need to figure out which one of them is doing this before they all end up dead. This is a fast-paced, single-location mystery horror film. I really like showing people this film for the first time and having them guess as the film goes on who they think is doing it. I really like when films have that interactive element, like the element of mystery, that gets you to play along as you watch. It's really fun to work things out and play detective alongside the characters. Being set in such a small space, literally like the whole film is just set in this lift, it makes it feel really claustrophobic. It was actually produced and the story was written by M. Night. It definitely does feel like an M. Night film with the psychological psychological elements, as it really does get you thinking and has a really fast-paced storyline and a satisfying ending. Next is a film called Swallow. In this psychological thriller with body horror, we follow a lonely woman who grows restless being a stay-at-home wife with nothing to do all day. She seeks excitement and something more in her life when she develops a new addiction: eating non-food objects. Starting off with less harmful items, but soon progressing to some sharper and some more dangerous objects. How far will her obsession go, and how will it affect her body? A lot is left up to the imagination in this film because, of course, we do get to see her eat things, but we don't actually get to see what's going on inside of her body for the most part. So when she swallows these objects, a lot is left up to our imagination. It is such a shocking concept that it can be effective without doing too much. Even thinking about it does make me feel quite squeamish. The story is actually really sad, as our main character Hunter is very lonely and isolated, being at home all day. Her husband isn't supportive and she spends most days with not much to do and not really anyone to talk to. With her marriage, she lost control of so many things in her life, so she's now regaining control with the things that she puts into her body. My last recommendation is a film called Sissy. Sissy bumps into an old friend while shopping and gets invited to her hen party weekend to reunite with her old bestie. Little does she know that when she's there, a group of people who used to bully her in school are also at this hen party and are still in fact bullies. They try to bring Sissy down again, but she will not stand for the bullying any longer now that she's older and can finally get her revenge. This is a film that went straight to streaming, so it unfortunately went under the radar for a lot of people. Sissy is actually an influencer, which is an interesting aspect. I feel like in the last few years we've got an influx of horror films that are either heavily based on social media or have some sort of aspect linking to social media. I personally love this because I love relating horror films to real life scenarios and things that are just so present in our lives. I think this also caters to a new generation of younger audience members quite well because social media has been such a big part of their lives growing up. In contrast to some of us older horror fans, I personally didn't even have internet till I was 15, and then when I did have it, we literally just had MSN and then we had MySpace. It was literally nothing like what it is now. So it's only right for films to catch up and include some modern aspects. This definitely fits into the category of a good for her revenge film, but we don't really get that many revenge films that are revenge on bullies. So although the revenge horror subgenre has been done many times, because this one has that aspect of it being revenge on bullies, it does feel original and fresh. So that's all of my recommendations for today. Let me know if you've seen any of these and what you thought of them. I will definitely be doing some more parts because there are so many horror films on Tubi and it is a free streaming site. Obviously you do have to watch the ads, but I just feel like for the amount of good horror films that they offer for free, not just horror films, they offer all different films, but for what they offer for free, I do think it's fine to watch the ads. I personally don't mind anyway. As always, thank you so much for watching and I'll see you again in another one soon.